Hemopoiesis is the process of blood cell formation which occurs primarily in the red bone marrow. Hemopoiesis starts with undifferentiated cells called hemocytoblasts. These stem cells give rise to the many different cell types that make up the cellular elements of blood. A number of hormones and growth factors, known as colony-stimulating factors or CSFs, influence hemocytoblasts to differentiate along either the myeloid or the lymphoid cell line. The myeloid cell line forms erythrocytes or red blood cells and megakaryocytes, which give rise to platelets. Myeloid stem cells also form leukocytes or white blood cells, except for lymphocytes, which are produced by the lymphoid cell line. Hemopoiesis along the myeloid cell line follows one of three pathways: erythropoiesis, thrombopoesis, or leukopoiesis. Erythropoiesis produces red blood cells. It begins with stimulation of myeloid stem cells by CSFs. This produces a progenitor cell that gives rise to a proerythroblast, the first committed cell along this pathway. The hormone erythropoietin initiates the erythroblast stage, during which proerythroblasts are stimulated to form erythroblasts. The erythroblast begins to synthesize hemoglobin and gradually decreases in size, giving rise to a normoblast. At this point, the nucleus is ejected from the normoblast, resulting in a reticulocyte. After the reticulocyte enters the bloodstream, its organelles degenerate, at which point it is considered a mature erythrocyte. Thrombopoesis produces platelets. Like erythropoiesis, it also begins with a myeloid stem cell that produces a progenitor cell when stimulated by growth factors. The progenitor cell becomes a committed cell called a megakaryoblast. In response to the hormone thrombopoietin, the megakaryoblast differentiates into a large cell called a megakaryocyte. Platelets are formed when thousands of small cell membrane-bound portions of the cytoplasm break away from the parent cell. These isolated fragments enter the circulation as platelets. Leukopoiesis, the formation of white blood cells, involves maturation of three different cell types. The myeloid cell line gives rise to granulocytes, eosinophils, basophils, and neutrophils, and monocytes. The lymphoid cell line produces lymphocytes. Granulocytes and monocytes share a common stem cell. In granulocyte maturation, the stem cell is stimulated by CSFs to produce a myeloblast, which then gives rise to promyelocytes. These cells form the three myelocyte subtypes. Eosinophilic myelocytes differentiate into eosinophils. Basophilic myelocytes differentiate into basophils. Finally, neutrophilic myelocytes develop into neutrophils. The common granulocyte stem cell also participates in the formation of monocytes. This stem cell will give rise to a monoblast that differentiates further into a promonocyte and then a monocyte. The lymphoid stem cell is also involved in leukopoiesis, which results in lymphocyte formation. This stem cell differentiates into B lymphoblasts and T lymphoblasts. These mature into B and T lymphocytes, respectively.